welcome to a Bitcoin update. This is technically a wave revision. Basically been doing more investigation into each wave here using as much logic as possible and advanced techniques of RES wave. So now we're going to start from the beginning, right? This move here since the beginning, especially down here, when in 2010 price went to 0.01, right? That was the end of wave 2. We know that Bitcoin started in around 09. So there would have been a 1 and 2. 2 would have ended here because price cannot go below the beginning of wave 1. Now, obviously, this would have started at 0.00 and it went back to 0.01. It's a no-brainer. It's a wave 2, right? So then we look at the wave structure here and you can see there's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have wave 3. Now, how do we confirm that's actually right? We'll look at RSI, right? Check out the RSI. What was the strongest move in this move? It was right here. That's wave 3 of wave 3, right? In the green, there's the 5th. That's 3. That's 3. Wave 3 of 3 was and has been the strongest move since the whole beginning of Bitcoin, right? So that is clearly wave 3. Then we had wave 4 and then followed by wave 5. Okay, so that means that Bitcoin did, in fact, top. And you can see right here in the RSI, wave 5 was the weakest. Look how far out of the channel it fell, right? It's done. But what does it mean? It means that right now we're seeing an A-B pattern, right? Basically, everyone right now is in on a corrective B pattern. Okay, so if you think that this wave here was the end of a correction and then that's it, we're done, we're ready to go higher, well, that's why B wave is so expanded, because a lot of people believe that, and a lot of people have the hope and the greed and the mania, not to mention the tribalism, right, to drive this thing as high as humanly possible. But the problem with this is that once C wave begins, there's going to be a lot of tears, right? And who will be left holding the bag? The retail investors, while the institutional players have pumped and dumped it, basically, right? And they've probably pumped and dumped it since March, I would say. And plus a lot of other people who are getting in on it. Just look at the news. You can see it's a social indicator, right? When people start getting interested in this again, even in the news, you know that it's a top. Okay, so how do we count this top? Right, no problem. I've been doing some work on that as well. So I'm just going to switch to the regular Bitcoin chart. And right now we can see that the C wave is definitely extended for the reason of mania, for the reason of greed, right? It's just how it works. Now, if you're just trying to think how many waves are left in this correction, well, there's about 3 left after this, right? There's a C, D, and E. Now, most likely, I'll tell you at the end of this video where I think it's likely to fall down towards. And I'll also link my other ideas, which are related to the USD, right? A lot of people think the USD is going to collapse, but I've got proof that it isn't. And it's all just imagination, hopefulness, because of course, if you think that Bitcoin's going to the moon, then obviously the USD has to crash. But I think that's just hopeful dreams. People just wish for that sort of stuff. Anyway, so let me get to the point here, and we're counting 5 waves up. So how are we going to do this? We're probably going to start off with the 4-hour chart. Okay, so we've got wave 1, and then wave 2 was expanded, right? There's a 335, 35 expanded wave 2, and then we've got a wave 1 and 2, and then we have a 3, right? And then 4 ended just recently at that last little drop, right? So as you can see, this wave 1 down here will be the similar length to wave V up here, and that'll complete wave 3, right? And then it's not over yet, right? You would have thought so, but no. After this particular move ends, we're going to see a wave 4. right? So wave 2 was expanded. So wave 4 should technically be sideways and create this corrective pattern, which then will basically finish, and then wave 5 will be created, and that'll be the end of wave C, right? So that'll be it. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what I think is going to happen. Once we see wave 5 complete, right, we need to see a break below the start of wave 5, right, in order to confirm a top, right? It doesn't matter if we break this wave 4 here, because that'll just be confirming that wave 3 ended, right? And then we'll go into correction for wave 4, and then we'll see the last move up. And then if it doesn't go below the start of wave 5, you can go bullish, you can go crazy, you can think, no problem, this is going to the moon, and I'll just say fine, and maybe it is, right? But only if we don't see a break of the start of wave 5 once it happens. Okay, after that you can do whatever you want, you can go crazy. But as I mentioned to you before, and I showed you quite clearly, this is a B wave. Okay, it's a B wave. Now let's go back to the other chart for a moment. Okay, so now that's basically much as much evidence as you're going to get, right? Now, for some targets for where I believe this thing will fall down towards, right? Well, just don't forget about this first point that I'm going to make. If this thing does crash back down here, back to just say around where it started, a lot of people are going to not trust in this thing. They're going to think, oh my God, I just lost money, blah, 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 this and that, right? But let's not forget, it's the institutions are in on this. They're pumping and dumping this thing. A lot of irresponsibly long people out there are promoting this, and they're pushing people into this at the wrong time, right? We've only seen not even half a correction. There's still 3 more waves in a correction to go, right? This is using Arias wave and using logic, right? It's a mania. It's an absolute mania. So just bear that in mind. The retail traders will be left holding the bag. But then you just have to ask yourself one question. How confident will people feel once it does fall all the way back down there, right? They're not going to feel very confident. So what's going to happen after that is that we're going to see wave C, right? I don't know where it's going to fall down towards. I don't know where wave C is. Don't ask me that, right? And then we're going to see wave D, and then we're going to see wave E. And you're probably thinking, are you insane? Are you out of your mind? Well, from my experience, price always falls down to the previous 4th wave of the previous 3rd wave, right? And that's right here. That is right here, okay? And this happens a lot on a lot of different corrections. This is just a place where it falls down toward, right? And you can pull out your Fibonacci and say, well, that's over blah, blah, blah percent. That doesn't mean shit, okay? Like I said to you, if this thing falls down here, people are going to lose confidence. They're going to lose it, right? And God knows what will happen, right? We've seen this thing go down how many percent and then bounce. Really, would you be surprised? Right? This thing is an absolute pump and dump at the moment. And it's whatever's driving this is mania and greed. Like, you've got people in the newspaper talking about Bitcoin. They want to be paid in Bitcoin, right? That's exactly the kind of news that came out in 2017 before it topped. It's exactly the same. If you hear your grandma talking about Bitcoin, you know that it's a top, right? And the problem with economists is that a lot of times they're wrong, right? They're wrong. Go back through their history, and these people are supposed to be, university degree economists and all this stuff. A lot of the times they're wrong, right? They're extrapolating into the future, and they will basically get you in trouble. Who knows? They're probably helping the institutions pump and dump this thing, right? They're sucking in your stimulus check, right? They're leaving you holding the bag. right? That's why I say to people, learn the waves, right? Because something's not quite right here. Something's just not right. I mean, this looks like, since the beginning, it looks like a circus tent, right? Half a circus tent. Now, you're going to see the other half of the circus tent very soon, right? Do you want to look like a clown? Right? You may just look like a clown. I'm just telling you right now. If you think this is going to go to 100K, half a million, you're going to be rich, and you think that the newspapers, you're going to listen to what's in the newspaper and they're going to tell you how to get rich, forget about it. Forget about it. You're living in some kind of dream world. That's my opinion, right? I just go by the waves. I think it's irresponsible to be long at the moment, but if you cash out within the next, I don't know, week or whatever, even because it's just going to go sideways from here before it tops. Depending on where you got in, right? If you just got in recently, Jesus Christ, you got to be kidding me. If you got in recently, oh my God. If you got in down here halfway, hey, you made some profit. Good on you, right? Now you should learn the waves because you're going to lose it all unless you get out. That's just my opinion though, right? You can wait until this whole thing happens and then get out. Go ahead. Do that if you want. And then we'll talk, right? Now, I already mentioned about where I think this thing has to go before it shows you a top. So I'm going to give you an update shortly on when that happens. Okay, so don't forget where the strongest move here was, third of a third, right? And now this thing topped in 2017. And now you guys are trading the correction. You're trading the B wave. Do you know that that's the oldest trick in the book? The B wave is the one that always gets people. It's a classic, right? It's a classic. Trust me, it's a classic. It always happens to the people who don't know the waves. So hopefully you found this informative. Stay tuned for an update. Thank you for watching.